Discipline is the one thing that can hold you up when everything else falls apart. If you're anything like me, you've probably already tried a bunch of productivity hacks. Pomodoro timers, apps, endless to-do lists, and maybe they worked for like a week until they didn't. And you're left wondering, what's wrong with me? But hold on just a teeny tiny moment. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, not lazy. You're simply trying to navigate through a world of advice that wasn't specifically built for your brain. As an artist whose only consistency lied in their struggle with consistency, I've been there. But instead of blaming myself, I started researching and turned the tips I came across into applicable, flexible strategies, which could fit real lives, not perfect ones. So today I want to share what actually worked for me in a way that will hopefully benefit you. Not by forcing yourself into someone else's idea of the perfect routine, but rather by giving you building blocks to design a system that works with your brain, not against it. Hiya Inspiring Squad, I'm Jess and welcome to Heart in Progress, a place where we embrace all mess and create anyway. Today we're diving into 7 practical, flexible tips to help you build discipline that might actually last. But before we begin, here are 2 quick things to set you up for success. 1. Focus on one achievable tip. This video isn't about adding 7 new habits. My goal here is to help you figure out what's relevant for you and give you one tip that actually sticks. That's our mission together. 2. Expect resistance. You're going to stumble, and that's not failure, it's part of the process. So let's adjust our expectations accordingly. Also, feel free to work alongside me while I continue with my projects in the background of this video. Today I'm working on my Eddsworld Wildcard AU Animatic, which I want to wrap up before diving into an independent story. And of course, I'm not alone. Let's welcome back my chaotic companions. Shoulder Angel Vess.
Here and queer. Wait, can I redo that?
And my very own shoulder gremlin, Nex.
Fun fact, we're all going to die. That's not funny. To you, it's not.
Alright then, let's dive into it, and I hope you get to bask in the calming presence of your emotional support fish. Yes, that's a thing I just learned about today. Tip 1. Build a strong why. Discipline is all about building long-term consistency, which is not easy. So before we even think about building a habit, we gotta ask ourselves, why do I want to become disciplined? The stronger your reason, the more likely you'll stay productive.
I've heard building discipline will help me have an easier life.
Wrong. That first why you come up with, it's often surface level, something society wants us to believe. Although I'm sure it can get you somewhere, we can go even deeper. So let's keep asking why until we hit something real. Bess, be honest. Why do you want an easier life?
So I have more time?
And why do you want more time?
To play Ace Attorney and read 4,000k word slow burn fanfics where they only kiss in chapter 73? You're reading your diary again?
Chicken wing.
I can do that right now without touching an ounce of discipline. So why should I waste my hours grinding for that?
And that's another thing. Our minds love jumping to the quickest solutions, which is generally efficient, but not helpful here. To really commit, you need a why that hits you in the gut, something that comes from your values. So how do we build that? Dr. K, our favorite internet therapist, has 3 key questions to help us do just that. What do you want? Do you want to change? And do you wish to want to change? Once you found a goal that really hits, write it down. If you like, you can even post it somewhere. That's what I did. Take a look.
I want to find inner peace and help others find theirs, like Uncle Iroh.
Quite positive, eh? Well, one of the first notes I put up wasn't. Yep. If I had a nickel for every time I was told to just pivot to furry Gorn, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Absolutely no hate to the people who are into that, it's just not me. But that pettiness It became my fuel. And that post-it, it stayed right there on the wall. Now it's just making my guests uncomfortable. So yeah, make sure your why is genuine. Tip 2. Accountability systems. Yes. If you're one of those mythical extroverts I keep hearing about in the legends, you might actually consider asking friends or family to check in on your progress.
And risk failure publicly? Accountability buddies!
Now, obviously, I'm not saying to dump all your responsibilities onto someone else, but if you've got friends who are working on their own stuff too, why not team up? Like nerdy battle comrades. Just check in on each other, or even co-work in silence while judging each other's procrastination silently but lovingly.
Or loudly and spitefully. I'm good with both.
Alternatively, you can also join online challenges or communities. Doing it alone is admirable, but doing it together, that's strategic. Tip 3. The 5-minute rule, or the next best thing. Let's talk a bit about a tip from the comments. The 5-minute rule. Thanks to the Reality Reaper BC for bringing it up. Ves, care to explain it?
If you drop your food, you have 5 minutes to pick it up before bacteria claims it.
Yeah, that's the 5-second rule, and it doesn't work.
Shh. Let her eat the floor ice cream.
Ew, anyway, the 5-minute rule is about beating procrastination. When a task feels overwhelming, set a 5-minute timer and just start. After 5 minutes, ask yourself, keep going or stop. If you feel up for more, set another 5 and repeat. It helps to ease the pressure of starting. It's like Mario Kart. Slam the gas too soon and you just spin out like a hyperactive Roomba. Same with your goals. If you set your expectations too high, too early, you might not want to start at all.
Aren't you forgetting something important?
Wait.
No, don't say it. People are actually feeling inspired right now. 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes it makes everything worse.
There we go.
If you're anything like me, you'll say to yourself, I'll do 5 minutes, and then next shows up like,
wow, 5 minutes? Gonna change the world now, are we? Better start planning your Nobel speech.
And the worst part, sometimes it's true. Well, not the Nobel speech part, but especially if you're doing a task like reading and you only half skim the first few sentences, your brain can log it as wasted effort and hate you for it. So if you're someone who gets annoyed by half-done efforts, or you tend to forget everything after 3 minutes like me, you might prefer just doing the next best thing for your task as a strategy. But if you're a person who likes a clear work structure, or you distract yourself every few minutes and need to be kept in check, forget I said anything. 5-minute timers are great. So yeah, pros and cons. It doesn't matter so much which path you choose, but more that you try and stay consistent. Tip 4. Add variety. This next tip is one I've taken to heart for a long time. Back at my uni, there was this super cool concept artist who did a masterclass where he shared his approach to maintaining productivity. Ready for the secret formula, Plankton? It's variety! Yay! You know, like in the title. Look, we already talked about how starting is the hardest part, right? But once you start, you get this awesome thingy called momentum. Problem is, if you stay glued to one task for too long, that momentum, it dies. But here's the trick. Whenever you feel yourself slowing down like a laptop on 2% battery, switch tasks, and your brain gets a refresh.
Oh, sure. Because running away from your problems has never backfired. It's not running, Nex. It's strategic avoidance. It's science. Yeah, trust a lady who wants to eat floor ice cream.
A switch doesn't have to mean running from your task. If you're dedicating a day to art, you can mix it up like watch a tutorial, sketch anatomy, reach out for feedback. And if that's not good enough, you can also change your environment. Work in a different place. Work on the floor like a sad ghost. Change the lighting, the temperature. Wrap yourself in a blanket and become the Hollow Knight.
Surely the scented candle will heal your generational trauma and fix your work ethic. Lavender is powerful!
Just trick your brain into thinking something exciting is happening. The brain craves novelty like a raccoon craves shiny objects.
Like attracts like.
Tip 5. Remove distractions. Now, this is the part you'd expect me to say, put your phone away! And yeah, sure, you can do that if you can. I know I can't, but I'm still able to keep my focus. How's that? And we're back to my favorite rule. If you can't quit cold turkey, do the next best thing. Instead of pretending I have this monk-level willpower, I just put my phone somewhere I don't immediately see it. That's my next best thing. And, critical part here, I avoid launching apps that I know will suck me into a black hole. So for me that means no TikTok, no YouTube, no Ace Attorney memes, because that's how I end up binge playing the entire trilogy at 2 AM. Try to only use media you can easily enough step out of during work hours, and frame it like a challenge, not a punishment. Also, if you find yourself getting distracted and you're not even sure by what, just keep a list. Write down every single thing that hijacked your brain and adjust it for next time. Did the Stardew Valley gift guide tab lure you in again? Close it. Got a message? Turn your phone into silence mode. Is your little sister singing karaoke next door?
Kill her. Use noise-cancelling headphones? Or that.
I guess. You get the idea. I also find my focus quicker when I actually get up and leave the room for just a minute. And apparently there's a reason to it. You've probably heard of the doorway effect. You know, when you leave a room to grab something and as soon as you enter another, you forgot what it was. Well, turns out we can use that to our advantage.
Anytime, I have patients who are struggling with addiction, I strongly encourage them, or people who are procrastinating, take a walk and try to go through a couple of doorways if you can. The struggle will feel very different, and that is literally because we are resetting your working memory.
So yeah, sometimes you can beat procrastination just by walking through some doorways. Use this knowledge wisely. Tip 6. The body check. Okay, now that we've already covered most strategies, I want to shift focus to something that is really important but often overlooked. Our basic needs. Yeah, I'm serious. Before you blame yourself for lacking discipline or being lazy, ask, did you drink enough? Did you eat healthy? Are you sleep deprived? Are you lonely? Have you moved around enough? Or are you fully turning into a decorative houseplant? Before focusing on higher goals, we need to make sure our basic needs are met. Obviously, you don't need to have it down to 100%. Too much of a good thing is not good either, but just make sure your sim stats aren't in the red if you can. Self-care equals productivity, so...
Good luck.
And yeah, I know, as an animator I tend to make a lot of what is sleep jokes.
Baby, don't hurt me.
But I actually respect the snooze gods. So if you have any power over it, try to get your 8 hours of sleep at least 80% of the time. I wish I could help you better with that, but hey, at least I can tell you what's worked for me. Meditation, reflection, journaling emotions before they turn into a nighttime terror, and playing Stadt, Land, Fluss.
Stadt what now?
It's a method that was recommended to me in therapy. It's a game where you basically go down the alphabet, A to Z, and then fill categories, for example, cities, with words starting with that letter. I usually play it with characters as a category because,
Fantasy boys!
And weirdly, it actually tires me out. By the time I hit H, I'm out like a light.
Oh, you mean the game categories. Yeah, that's not unique.
Really? I always thought it was a German thing, because we Germans know how to disco, party.
Then collapse in a sensible bedtime.
Fantastic! So yeah, pay attention to your body. Don't let Nex gaslight you into thinking you're just lazy when you're actually just dehydrated.
Or maybe you're just dehydrated and lazy.
Thanks, Nex. Folks, it is time for the last tip. Create your work schedule, plan your day, yada yada. Personally, I used to violently resist that advice. Every time I'd get super hyped when I'd see someone else's beautifully color-coded planner and think, wow, I'm gonna be that organized. This is gonna be me. But exactly 2.5 days later, you'd find me in bed buried between an appropriate number of plushies, declaring, never mind. But here's the thing with building habits. You've gotta start small.
It's like building a cult, really. You don't go, hey, drink the Kool-Aid on day 1. You start with, hey buddy, have you ever felt misunderstood? Here's a free t-shirt. Next, that's just too dark. Did you read the Book of Bill again? Shoutout, shooting star. I follow you. I follow you.
Right. Well, I used to think I thrived without a plan, until I noticed how stressed I actually felt. I tried to relax for like 5 minutes, and then suddenly Next would loom over me like a grade school bully going,
Relaxing, huh? You think you earned that, buddy? Huh? You sure about that?
So yeah, my breaks, they weren't actually breaks. They were more like guilt spirals. I think that describes it pretty good. Yeah, guilt spirals with snacks, which honestly felt worse than working. That's why even a rough plan can make you feel more free than winging it. Structure doesn't trap you. It just tells Next to chill. So let me give you 3 flexible starting points to help you build a work plan that actually works for you. Let's start with the task-focused strategy, the minimum hours schedule. Plan your week by picking the bare minimum time you can work each day. 2 hours? 1 hour? 20 minutes? Like, seriously undershoot it. It's better to overshoot a tiny goal than fail a big one. And take your energy levels into account. You're probably not at your best after an 8-hour work shift. So, nail a low-effort week or 2, then level up. The second strategy is about carrying multiple day plans. Who said you need to stick to one schedule? You can create 3 versions of your schedule and then see which one you'll stick to for the day, depending on your energy. One average day plan, for when you're up for answering one or the other email, but nothing too extreme. Or maybe the social part is the extreme part for you. In that case, hey, here's a high five, same. One good day plan, for days on which you feel like finally launching that giant robot and taking over the world. And one bad day plan, for days when trying to take over the world backfires. Obviously, each plan should be realistic for that energy level.
If your bad day plan requires writing a novel, congratulations! You've set yourself up for failure.
Your bad day plan could just be answer one message. That's still progress.
You're a failure.
The last strategy? Split your workday into 2 chunks and match tasks to your peak performance times. Most of us have a time of day when we're at our best in regards to work performance. Mine's between 8 to 10 in the morning. Use that window for the hard stuff. You know, the tasks that make you want to fake your own death. Save the lighter ones for later, when your brain is running low on power. If you start losing focus before finishing the first half of your work, take a mini break. Grab a snack, stretch, even just stepping into another room can help. Save longer lunch breaks for the midpoint. And if you struggle to jump back after your break, taking a short walk to reset your brain can help. If you miss your goals sometimes, that's normal. If it keeps happening, you're a failure. Again. No! Reflect instead. Your system needs a tweak. Maybe your goals are too big right now. Maybe you just need more snacks. Adjust, experiment, and retry. Also, consider tracking your weekly progress to avoid that feeling of being stuck. I personally keep 2 little notebooks now, one to track my daily work hours and one for my weekly summary. What worked, what sucked. Doesn't have to be static, it just needs to work for you.
Wow! Disgusting! I love it.
Start messy, start tiny, build your your routines. You got this. So yeah, building discipline, it's not about crushing it every single day. I'd say it's about the consistent effort of getting to know yourself, to build a system that actually fits you.
And every time an approach doesn't work, you can learn something real about yourself, how you work, and what you need.
Ugh, okay, gross. But accurate.
No way. Next.
Are you actually on our side with this one?
What?
No, I said gross.
She's blushing.
That's my rage. Point is, give yourself the permission to be bad at first and build your system one chaotic step at a time. Alright, quick progress update. No need to dive too deep today, because I've just been catching up on the same old Eddsworld AU animatic I want to finish. So here's a sneak peek. Coloring's halfway done, biggest hurdle, backgrounds. Not because they're wildly detailed, just because I'm not used to doing them. Honestly, I keep wanting to slap on a gradient and call it a day.
But then you wouldn't feel as proud of it in the end.
As if finishing a toxic yaoi animatic is gonna bring you that much pride.
Hey, I'm adding depth to my story.
That you'll never show because you're turning it into an original story, remember? And if you explain too much, you'll spoil the twist.
Okay, fair. So for now it probably does only look like yaoi.
Well, what if you just add a couple of images at the end? A hint at where the biggest story is going. Let people enjoy the current version, but also see there's more to it.
That's actually a great idea. Yeah, now I'm more excited again.
Oh wow, so glad about that breakthrough. Riveting.
Order in the court. We present the case of criminally underrated talent. The accused, TheShammah. Shammah? Shammah? TheShammah? An artist guilty of dropping character designs that slap so hard they've shattered my emotional stability. Also creator of, can I say that? That's probably fine. Shout out to Blake Spangler3111 for recommending this artistic thread that houses on YouTube and Newgrounds. That was my first time on the site, by the way. It's pretty dope.
I guess you could say I found a new ground?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, their character art hits everything I aim for. They're clean, dynamic, expressive. It's the kind of stuff that made me want to draw in the first place, and the nostalgia hits hard. I know that plant. That's Cosmo. I cried. And Krona from Soul Eater used to be my favorite.
It's not just nostalgia. Their work feels free.
Ugh, corny.
Maybe, but it's true. Their work made me want to sketch more for fun again. Oh, and then there's Droopy. NOC with, let's call it a unique smile. Flowey would be proud.
Oh, I just love Halloween. That's when all the freaks and perverts come out. I'm talking about myself.
Same.
I don't like that she's calling me an idiot.
You are an idiot. You know, Nex, I can see you two getting along. You're both evil and... evil. You'd make a great team.
When the robot armies march to the beatings of a heart, and I'm as happy as can.
I'd never team up with someone who cries. Actually, scratch that. I'd never team up with anyone, period.
Bold of you to assume anybody wants to team up with you. Wait, am I roasting myself with that? Either way, go check out their art and animations. I have a hunch you'll enjoy it. Links in the description. Okay, I know I tossed a lot of tips your way, but don't stress. Just pick one thing that clicked, ideally where resistance is lowest, and start there. Remember, the goal is to understand how we work best. We're not aiming for perfect, we're aiming for progress. So yeah, this wraps up my ramble on discipline, but if you've got your own favorite trick or something I've missed, drop it in the comments. It might help somebody else too. And if this was helpful or at least mildly entertaining, give the like button a gentle nudge, subscribe, hit the bell, or don't. Free will is a thing. Let me know how long these episodes should be. I'm still figuring out the pacing. And if you know an underrated artist who deserves a spotlight or have a topic you'd like me to cover, send them my way. Alright, catch you next time, cult leaders, creative legends.
Join us.
What? See you next time, stay chaotic, and remember, you don't have to have everything figured out. Mein Frau wird mich verlassen, schade, Party. Licht ist gut für Augen, Seife aber nicht. Disco! 1, 2, 3, 4. I say disco, you say party. Disco, disco. I say disco, you say party. Disco, disco.
Could we just address the cold thing real quick?